Man, how is it that I lost 100 pounds? 100 pounds and I was still morbidly obese. Still morbidly obese. See, this is the stuff. This is the stuff that I want to talk about because these are the things that no one actually talks about. Yeah, losing 100 pounds. That's a lot of pounds. It's like a whole person. Like somebody, there's an adult somewhere that weighs 100 pounds. There's a youth out there that weighs 100 pounds. And you can lose 100 pounds and still be morbidly obese. But how do you get through that? It's it's a struggle, man. But look, let me holler at you for a minute. Let me tell you a couple of things. So these are the things that the reason why I probably continue to write this, to talk about this on this channel. So how did this come about? So I was answering some of the comments and people were talking about, wow, it's really inspiring that you were able to do it and you made it to the other side. So then I started thinking about, how did I make it to the other side? How did I make it to the other side? And I think about that 300-pound mark. So, okay. So starting off, okay, let's get into it. So starting off at about around 415-ish. The reason why I say ish is because I was going back and forth, lose 10, gain 20, lose 8, gain 50. So I was going through that kind of thing. But also my scale topped off at 415. And that's the scale that I used. And then when I went to my doctor, that was around that time. So I say that around 400, 415, let's just say 400. So I remember focusing on milestones. Like I was trying to hit certain milestones and I wanted to see myself in the 300s. Being in the 400s was obviously there, but I wanted to see myself like really in the 300s. So it wasn't that deep to go. It was deep, but it wasn't that deep to get from 415 to 399. And I remember these different milestones that I'm in the 300s, and I really wanted to see 299. I really wanted to get to 300. So I lost the first 100 pounds in 6 months. And I talk about that a lot in my Raw Reset video. But we can always repeat. So I lost that first 100 pounds in 6 months, basically by doing 90 days of a raw reset where I only ate raw food. And then the rest of the 3 months, kind of focusing on into exercising and, really focusing on a healthy lifestyle while going through changes mentally in my relationship with food. I remember getting to about 300, the 300 number. And I went to see my doctor. I always see my doctor right around my birthday. My birthday's in December. So I went to see my doctor. And he was so excited. He was super excited, losing 100 pounds. We were high-fiving. We were celebrating. And and then at the end of the visit, or close to the end of the visit, he gives me the paperwork, saying, okay, continue to do this, continue to do that, changes in medication, any updates, and some words of encouragement. Because he's one of those doctors that kind of says, keep up the good work and things like that on my discharge paperwork. And it still said morbidly obese. I hated that. I hated that whole thing that used to be on my paperwork under my list of diagnoses. I hated the fact that it said morbidly obese. Like, I'm dying because I'm overweight. I'm dying because I'm swollen, fluffy. Like, that really messed with my head, seeing it. Even though I knew it to be true, I was like, man, I lost 100 pounds. And I still got morbidly obese. Do you know what I just went through? Do you understand the sacrifices that I went through to get through to this 100 pounds? Do you understand what I sacrificed, the sufferance? Do you understand the struggle? Do you understand the struggle that I went through to lose that 100 pounds? And it still got morbidly obese on the paperwork. So I turned around. I said, Dr. C, I said, what's up? I lost, I lost 100 pounds. Can you can I get not so morbidly obese? Like, can I get can I get some credit on this line item? It reminded me of how I used to argue with my professors or try to negotiate with my professor. I was like, yo, so can I get a can I get just like a B plus? Can you bump me up to A minus? Because you said that that I validated that point. So can I get like a little extra, get some credit here? And he was like, nah. He was like, nah, girl, you still morbidly obese. Yes, we're proud. Yes, you did a good job. Yes, we high five. Yes, we got to come off some of your medications, and yes, we have met a major milestone. But you are still morbidly obese. Man, it's sad. Think about it right now. But I think the reason why I'm revisiting this moment is I want to talk about, the challenge of how do you stay motivated? What pushes you through? What things can you do in this in between? Now, maybe if you're just a 5 pound, lose a 5 pound, 10 pound person, and this whole journey is not about major super weight loss. This journey is about being healthy and free. This journey is about your overall wellness. This journey is about how to, overcome the things you need to overcome. For me, I've talked about it a lot. I had a very bad relationship with food. We actually we have a we have an understanding between us right now, but how I had to break up with that poor relationship, abusive relationship I had with food. So for me, that was my thing I needed to overcome. The weight loss is a benefit or a bonus point for overcoming that, and my health being restored or recovered in that is a bonus point from being able to overcome. But this channel, this journey, this community is not just about losing weight. Like I told you, you can lose weight a lot of times. You can also gain it back. It's the synapse in between that I hoped to keep us in. And that is learning to overcome the things that get us out of control, that the end result are things like weight gain, out of control weight, out of control diagnoses and conditions, and overly medicated for things that we're doing to ourselves. It's not just about weight loss. So I just want to make that clear, because there's plenty of channels that focus on weight loss, and I've watched many of them, and they're very good channels. It's just my point is I want to focus more on being healthy and free from whatever it is that holds you down or prevents you from being your best self, that limits your ability to live your best life, for you to feel as great as you possibly could feel. That's what this is about. That's what healthy and free is about. So when I talk about, getting to the 300, so these were different milestones on my journey, but the real thing that I want to focus in on is what sustains, or what things can you do to keep motivated so you can get through those struggle moments. Because I'm going to tell you, I spent a lot of time on the struggle bus. And this is a bus that I kept yelling to the driver that I wanted to get off, and he just kept circulating. This struggle bus is real. And sometimes I don't think there was doors on a struggle bus. Like I couldn't get off of it. That's the way I felt. So I want to let you know that you are not alone in that journey, and you are not alone on that struggle bus. I'll be on it too. I'm on it too. I'll be yelling, driver, next stop, and he don't be listening. So I want to help you to figure out, how can you stay motivated? How can you get through these moments where you feel like you have sacrificed, like you've been eating asparagus sticks and celery sticks for 90 days. You've been going to the gym, you've been working out, you've been being excited about your salads, and you have not eaten any bad things. You have not gone and gotten the butter pecan ice cream. You have not gotten the bucket of rice and the loads of potatoes. You didn't get the potato sack that was on sale at Costco, and where you got like 100 pounds of potatoes. You didn't do any of that. And yet, you're still morbidly obese. And the other thing about it is that while you're celebrating, and this is for people who have had to lose lots of weight, it's not as obvious on the outside. So while you're celebrating, you and your doctor in the doctor's office, and while you're celebrating, looking at your scale, sometimes visually, you look absolutely the same to the people that see you every day. So you're not even getting the outward reward for losing the weight. Somebody said, "Oh, you look a little different," or you look rested," or they might come up with things, but they can't quite pin it. And then a lot of times people don't want to address your weight. People don't want to say, "Oh, you're losing a lot of weight," until you actually lost a lot of weight, and it's very, very obvious. I'm gonna tell you, from 400 pounds to 300 pounds, I was pretty much still wearing the same clothes. They just were baggier. The waist is probably the biggest difference, but I threw a belt on that sucker. And then when I started moving to leggings only, because I wore leggings for like a year, when I moved to leggings only, you really couldn't. They fit the same, and every time you washed them and dried them, they shrunk, and they kind of still represented the same thing. And so you don't have as much. You don't get the outward reward from people around you, especially those who see you every day. You're not getting any diagnoses changed, like morbidly obese. You're sacrificing what you believe to be everything to get this done. You're doing the work, and yet you're still at 300 pounds. You're still morbidly obese. You're still swole and fluffy. And even if you go on some time, because I remember this time I hadn't seen somebody for a minute. I hadn't seen them for a minute, and then I had lost 100 pounds, but when I saw them, to them, I was still swole. So I didn't even get the reward of like, girl, last time I saw you, you was 400. They don't know how much I weigh. To them, I'm still swole. Because I was. I'm going to be honest, I was. I lost 100 pounds and I was still fluffy. So I want to talk about what things I did and do, because it's forever. This doing thing is forever, because I'm still precious. I'm still her. I'm still the one that has to wake up every day and make a decision every day about how I approach my life. And so that's where I want to focus in on. Now I want to go into the mental part of it. I want to go into the intellectual part of it that helped me and helps me maintain on the journey. Even when you're at that threshold where you did a lot of work, you lost a lot of pounds, you sacrificed a lot, but now you're still at the point where you still need to push through even further. You need to continue on. And these are the important lessons that we need to internalize and incorporate, because these are the lessons that sustain us and help us to fight the internal battles that we have. The battle is not necessarily what's happening inside the supermarket. The battle is in the decisions that you make and the choices and the conversations that you have inside here. That's where the battle is happening. So I'm trying to help you develop some resources and tools so that when that conversation starts happening here, that you are able to articulate to yourself. I know it sounds crazy, because it really, it kind of is, but you have to develop the argument back to your own self. Not to the supermarket, not to the commercial that you saw, the battle here. The battle is here. So one thing that I had to intellectualize is the fact that my body was healing. Yeah, it sounds boring. It's not so sexy, but the body was healing. So when I take 100 pounds off my body frame, I'm taking off 100 pounds that my body had to manage and deal with every single day and 24 hours of the day. Whether I was sitting still, sleeping, or trying to, walk around and navigate my day, my community. That I took that weight off of my body, and now it has an opportunity to heal better. See, the thing about it is that we have to understand that our bodies is doing its best job in maintaining us. It is trying to restore you at night when you sleep. It is trying to help nurture and fuel all your organs, send blood up and down your body, keep the heart pumping, keep your brain working at optimal level. It is trying to do all of that. The more weight and conditions and situations you put your body in at the same time forces it to work harder and not at optimal level, not the way it was designed to do. So when you take 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 50, 100, 200 excess pounds away from your body, you're actually helping it to do its job. And it rewards you with things like less conditions or a more focused brain, mental ability to push through, better rested state when you're sleeping, more restoration during your sleep hours so that when you wake up, you're healed and restored better. So it's doing its job, but you might not know that. You might not know that you losing those excess pounds and making better decisions is actually giving your body the ability to do what it needs to do for you every single day. And so instead of saying out loud, oh man, I gotta go to this gym, you have to switch that. You have to tell yourself a different narrative. You have to say, I'm going to get stronger so my body can work better. See, it sounds corny. I know it does sound corny, but these are the things you have to do. Realize that you have trained yourself and your body to to do it wrong. I have. Let me just say, I don't know what you have done. I don't even know you. I'm telling you what I did. I had trained my body to learn to only work in survival mode. I trained my body to function 24 hours a day in survival mode. That's crazy. That's crazy work right there. If you think about it, your body should not be in its fight or flight mode 24 hours a day. Can you imagine if you had to fight? Like the best boxer, your best fighter can't last in a ring for 24 hours a day. It's impossible. 3 minutes and the boxer is tired. Now you are asking your body to deal with this condition, this disease, this disease, 300 extra pounds on its frame, trying to pump blood up and down, lymphedema. This is what my body, metabolic conditions, trying to process all the excess sugar that I ate while having a metabolic condition, trying to keep my blood pressure stable, which it wasn't, trying to get the meds to work properly in a body that I kept pushing to its maximum. That means my body wasn't able to just operate at its normal level. It was constantly in fight or flight mode. If that was your job, you would have quit already. You'd be like, I know people that show up at work and say, I ain't come to work today. You don't want your body to have to do that. So you have to intellectualize, okay, when I'm doing this exercise, when I'm avoiding eating foods that are not doing me well, when I am sustaining from this practice, when I am doing it, I am giving my body the right space to help me to live. It's not rocket science, but it sure does help to understand that and intellectualize that for yourself. And these are the words you have to say out loud. The reason why I say it out loud, I had to learn this for me, is that there's another conversation. So what we say out loud, what I'm talking to you right now, actually, there's a whole nother conversation that's happening at the same time in my head. While I'm trying to tell you this, there's a conversation that's happening. I'm telling you, this is real life stuff, fam. I'm trying to tell you. And if I know I'm not the only one that goes through this, but I'm going to say it for myself. And I'm going to say it for those who don't want to say it out loud. I'm an advocate. I'm a voice of the voiceless. So while I'm talking to you right now, there's another conversation that's happening in my head. This conversation that's happening in my head is saying they don't want to hear this. They don't need to hear it. You're the only one that happened to. This is the reason why I'm telling you to say it out loud, so that your brain and your ears hear you saying it. And it's almost like another person is talking back at you to counteract the inner thoughts that appear in our heads. I think I told in another video, I don't remember which one, but my grandmother used to say this all the time. The minute you declare yourself to be sanctified, the devil shows up. This is how it's working in this realm. You're trying to teach yourself something new. The old will want to prevail. That's why you have to take these little lessons and apply them. Make it applicable in your day-to-day. When you're brushing your teeth, when you're standing in front of the mirror, brushing your hair, when you're getting dressed, when you're putting lotion on your body. Say these things out loud. I am doing this so that I heal my body. I give my body a chance to heal. This is the new narrative you have to teach yourself. You have to tell yourself something different than what you've been telling yourself for all these years, or maybe what you've heard for a long period of time. But you know what? You're the only one that can do that for you. You're the only one that can do that for you. While you're listening to me, I bet you there's a conversation that's happening in your head. Well, that was good for her. Or maybe because she had this situation, or she had a better opportunity, or she had, this is what we call, is the opposite of what you're trying to do shows up. Do it, fam. Do it for yourself. Just start working on that. These are things that I want you to incorporate, because I know for a fact that if you start telling yourself a new narrative, then you will start believing that new narrative, and you'll start functioning within the new narrative. Yeah. The other thing I want to encourage you through this space is not to focus on the scale. Yes, I know my numbers because I recorded my journey along the way. But the scale will mess your head up. The scale will mess your head up. You heard what I said? Don't pay attention to only scale victories, because the scale is another tool that will sometimes tell you that you're not doing something right. And that's not true. That's not true. I want you to pay attention to non-scale victories. I want you to start recording not just what the scale says, but what your body says, what your mental wellness says, what your emotions are saying at the moment. So for me, the scale didn't always move or equate to the sacrifices that I felt I was making. So, truth moment. I was the kind of person that immediately after I ate a salad, I thought my stomach should be flat. I'm not lying. For me, I don't know where I got that from, but I'm that girl. So I eat a salad, I'm already like thinking that I look thinner. Because it was so different than the way I was accustomed to eating. I thought that a week after I ate that raw diet, just a week, that I was going to be slim, trim, out, just right here. I thought I was going to be sunken in and everything. No, I looked the same. What the difference was is how I felt. Not in the very beginning. I ain't gonna lie. You already know. I already told you. In the very beginning, I was angry. I wasn't happy. It wasn't happening. It wasn't happening like that. That's the true story. Don't think you're just going to start something and be like, oh yeah, I'm on my journey. Maybe some people are. Maybe some people could do that. I'm not. I wasn't the one. That wasn't my ministry. I was not happy when I started, and it took a while for me to get to that point. So if you're thinking that you start something and then you just get to where I'm at right now talking to you, it's a lie. That's a lie. That's not how it goes down. Or at least for me, I was angry. And I was angry for a minute. I was angry. I was not in a good mood. I was an evil little thing. So um, I want to tell you that the scale is also a tool that can be used to take you out. You hear me? So if you are losing 100 pounds or more, or you lost 20, or you lost 15, that sometimes what the scales say does not match the sacrifices that you are putting forth. But that doesn't mean that you don't have victory. Your clothes will tell you the story you need to hear. They fit looser. That's a sign that you lost some inches. And inches don't always show on a scale. You don't measure inches on a scale. The scale is pounds. It could be water, it could be muscle, it could be whatever. It could be, I don't know. All I know is the scale is not always your friend. Some people say, oh, weigh yourself once a week. What? You can weigh yourself once a week. You can weigh yourself once a month. Sometimes the scale could look exactly the same a month ago, but you don't know what happened in between. But your clothes, your mood, your conversation you may be having with your doctor, the way you wake up after a good night's sleep, these are the victories I want you to record. So another thing, while I was recording my weight that was on a scale, because I was keeping track, and I wanted to keep track of that, I also was recording, like in my journal. I'm a journal girl. So what I also was recording was how I felt. I was recording the size of my clothes. I was recording how baggy the clothes were on me. I was recording how I felt in the morning. I was recording changes in my medication that my doctor was making. I was recording other victories because why? Why? Because you need that data. You need that data. In science, it's not one study or one time you run a test that gets you the outcome that then winds up in a journal for us to follow medically. It's a lot of tests, a lot of data, a lot of trials that need to happen to determine if this is the right outcome. And so when we're doing this, we need the same thing. We need the data. We need the data. You need the data. We collectively don't need to write a collective story. It's you that needs to be convinced. It's us that needs to understand that the information that we're receiving works for what we're doing. We need to be convinced of our own self. It's us. So when I look back and saw, okay, I am down 2 pant sizes. That's a victory. Even if the scale said 2 pound difference. Well, to me, 2 pound difference was insignificant. If I only used the scale to determine if I was doing well, I probably would have lost that battle. I definitely would have lost that battle because it happened before. But the fact that I am down 2 pant sizes or 2 dress sizes, that like these pantyhose that I normally buy, now I'm buying a smaller size, that my skin is clearing up. That was another big victory just for vanity purposes. That I am coming down on doses of medication, that when I wake up, I'm not as groggy or still not feeling good. I'm waking up feeling good, actually. That was a big change. And noticing the difference between when I wasn't feeling well and when I felt well and mentally focused. These are the things that I was documenting that was letting me know that I was having victory. And so what I would encourage, if anybody were to ask me what things that I did do to stay the fight, these are the kind of tips and tools that I use to keep going through. Because like I said on many other videos, I had gone up and down, lost weight many times, and I gained it all back. And the reason that I can say that I was not able to maintain all those other times is that I did not get the mental lesson. I did not teach myself anything. I just was focused on what was outside and not focused on what was inside. I was focusing on the weight I needed to lose for an event or a wedding or a birthday or a trip, or because we were going to be all wearing the same outfit, I need to look good, or we're going to take pictures, or whatever it is. Whatever I wanted to do outwardly, that's what I lost the weight for. So as soon as that event ended, or that calendar date passed by, or when I failed it completely, like, oh, I'm not going to make it, just be swollen, happy, eat the butter pecan ice cream and the cake and the pie. And so once those kinds of things passed, I regained the weight plus a bonus set of weight. I was more focused on the outward and not focused on me. And this time I paid attention to focusing on here, on the mental, on me, on what's happening with me and the lessons that I needed to learn and unlearn. And I don't know about nobody else. I can't talk about nobody else. I don't know about nobody else. But for me, that was the biggest thing that helps me to maintain till I am where I am right this second. And that's what helps me to continue to train myself. Because we are out in the world 24/7. We have a lot of influences. We have internet. We got things on TV shows. We got people that we see in the community. We got clothing that we want to wear, or things that we saw and might not. Whatever it is, there are so many things that will take us backwards. I'm constantly training and teaching and giving myself the correct narrative constantly. Then and now, because it's a forever wellness journey. As we age, as we, cross over different milestones. After we become half a century, our bodies start going into a new era. Different situations start approaching us. Menopause, perimenopause, just aging in general. You go through another mental thing. I won't call it a crisis because it's a mental thing. Like hot flashes and night sweats and weight gain in weird places and waking up with ailments and you don't know where that ailment came from. You don't remember what you did to get this ailment. Like for all you know, all you did was go to bed. Seems pretty normal. You went to bed, you've been going to bed for over 50 years. But this time you woke up and you got a bruise. You have a bruise and you're in pain. You don't know what happened. So when you're going through all these different things, it's important that we're constantly teaching our mind to be able to address that in a way more focused and intellectual way than probably we would have had if we didn't train our bodies or train our minds to approach life and circumstances differently. You feel me? I know. Okay, so here's the hope. I like to speak in the positive. I like to speak life. I like to speak what we want to happen. This is another way of training your mind to approach the situation. I would say that before, I've never been like a super negative person. I've always tried to be positive. I was raised that way, to figure it out, find a way and figure it out. But I would say for me, it's more about the coping, what I use to cope with getting through the challenge and getting the struggle and figuring it out. And for me, that was the food, right? So I like to change how I approach struggle, and how I approach struggle determines how I cope. And I don't want my coping to be anything negative that could negatively affect my body or my mental health and my overall wellness. So I had to learn how to speak differently, because when you speak, your ears are translating something to your brain. And your brain will do its best to articulate that to give us the desires that we seek or that it heard, if that makes sense. So if you tell yourself that I'm not I'm not going to make it, or I'm going to try to do it. If you say it, try is optional, right? And there's nothing wrong with trying something, intending to do something. But I had to learn to say, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm healing my body. Instead of, I'm going to try this thing out. I'm going to try the raw reset. I'm going to try, because there's an option out. I don't know if you can hear the option out, but the way I'm built, I heard an option. If I tell you, let me tell you something. If you hear from me, and part of this might be we're Gen X, so this might just how we approach life. If I say I'm gonna try to make it, I'm not coming. I'm not coming. If I say I've tried to make it, it's just me giving you pleasantries. I'm not coming. I'm not coming. If I'm trying to do it, I'm not gonna do it. And sometimes if I say I'll try it, there's a part of me that says I quit already. I'm not joking. If I say I'm gonna try to do it, yeah, I quit on that. I kind of quit on it. I may give you the E for effort, but I quit already in advance. So knowing that about me and how I interpret the word try, that means I had to learn. Like I had to learn to have a new relationship with food. I had to learn how to speak to me differently. And see, I can't tell you what your word triggers are and how you articulate or what that actually means, but I can only speak for me. And for me, the word try has an option out. For me. So I don't speak in the try anymore. Occasionally it'll slip in. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect, but I'm intentional. So I'm not going to say unless I truly mean try, which truly means I'm not. Then you should know. I just told them myself. But anyway, when I say I'm going to do it, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm healing my body. I am eating raw for 90 days. I am going I'm going to the gym every day. I'm actually, this is an action thing. I'm actually doing it. I'm doing that on purpose because am retraining the vocabulary to me. And that helps to sustain me. I don't know about other people. Like I said, I started this journey, this channel, to try to help those who may be going through these kinds of struggles. And that's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. I'm not saying that you have to do it. You don't have to do nothing. I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm just trying to share a journey that I went through and what I did to sustain and what I do to sustain so that I stay healthy and free for as long as God wants me to. So how you speak to yourself matters. How you articulate your goals for yourself, because that's the only thing that matters. It's for yourself, right? It's for you. You can't control anybody else, but you can control yourself. So how you articulate and approach this matters. So when I say this, I'm saying because I don't want you to obsess about a finish line. I don't want you to obsess about when I get down to size 6, when I get down to 180 pounds. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. Start focusing more on the little freedoms that you are obtaining, getting, experiencing along the way. One of my first memorable freedoms is when I didn't have to take the injections, insulin injections. That was, and even though the scale was still saying, and my paperwork was still saying morbidly obese, the freedom to not have to stick myself, and then later the freedom to not have to take a certain medication, the freedom to not have to do something that I felt was taking away my freedom, was where the celebration happened. So I want you to think about that. Like, I remember the freedom of being able to walk up 6 flights of stairs, to have the choice between taking the elevator, the escalator, or the stairs. When before, I might have only had the choice to take the elevator or the escalator. That's the freedom. I want you to obsess more on the freedoms that you acquire than a finish line or a certain date or, or an event. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. This is where you'll start to learn to appreciate the journey, the process, and it will be sustainable, because it's about overall wellness, and overall wellness does not happen overnight. The same way, we didn't get obese overnight either. We didn't acquire conditions that we were under control of overnight. That didn't happen overnight. So reversing it doesn't happen overnight. But the day-to-day celebration of the freedoms that you have, even in the freedom of making a choice to eat this versus this, that there's a celebration there, because there was one point where I thought that I could not eat a certain thing. The fact that I can fast for prolonged periods of time, that I eat one meal a day, that I choose to not eat that versus that. There is freedoms in there that I want to celebrate. And the reason why I'm still talking about it, because I'm actually still celebrating. I'm celebrating the fact that I have wins in this. So do you. So I just wanted to just spend a little time today, because of the conversation I was having and answering some of the comments, is that there are little things that we need to, there are some things, not little things. Some of them are little things, some of them are big things, some things are a compilation of everything that we can do to help sustain us in this journey and sustain us for the long run, that keeps us at a point of in our best wellness selves, so that we can approach life in the way that brings us joy. And that is a win. That is a win. So anyway, that's it for today. I think I talked your head off, but I wanted you to hear that in such a real way, or in a way that in front of a person that has been exactly in a spot that you may be at right now, and that continues to use those tips, tools, and tricks, whatever way you want to phrase it, to keep yourself on that pathway and on your wellness journey. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. I'm not gonna front. It's a struggle. The struggle bus, and it seemed like they are expanding their route, the struggle bus route. The struggle bus is real, but there are ways that we can influence the bus to stop, let us off, so that we can enjoy our lives the way we want to enjoy it. So anyway, if I spoke to you in any way, drop a comment. I love the comments. I just want to, I got to say this. I appreciate this community, and I appreciate that you appreciate me talking to you. I appreciate that you find value in whatever I'm sharing with you. And I just thank you for taking your time to listen or watch, whichever way you're doing it, and the time to even comment. It means the world to me. It helps me to know that I'm on the right path, that I should continue to share, that I should continue on this journey. But it's so helpful. This community have grown to over 1,500 and over, I think we're over 54,000 views That's incredible. I wasn't even going to do this junk. That's the thing about it. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and I hope that each one is taking from whatever we can take from it and helping and encouraging each other along the way. Each one teach one, each one encourage one, because our community is just better. It's just better when we all can live our best lives and live our best lives here together. So thank you for your time. Till next time, stay healthy and free. Stay on the journey. Stay focused. Stay positive. Be easy on yourself. Be easy on your body and speak life. Your body will reward you for it. Peace.